incredible experiences.
What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR365. What is going on? Today is Thursday. It is about 11:20 a.m. Actually, just hit 11:21 a second ago there. And today is February 21st. What is going on? We've actually got a handful of stories to get into today. A lot of this stuff is kind of late breaking, and I'm a little bit late on the draw, to be completely honest with you. But you know what? We can just go through all of this stuff together. We can learn about all of this stuff together. And I'll tell you what, there's some really cool stuff that is going on behind the scenes from a standpoint of some interesting VR games that I need to take a look at, especially for me personally, being a guy that is addicted to color. There are some VR games that are splashing a lot of color on the screen, and I want to check these games out. And Paradise Decay actually mentioned one of them just in chat earlier today. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and get started on what we got to get into today. So number one, I need to pop out my chat and get it positioned in the right spot. Number two, I need to get my stories positioned in the right spot as well. Okay, so we're up now to episode 105 of the show. And before we get started with the show proper, I have a correction to make. So let me go ahead and pop something on our screen here, because I have a correction from yesterday. I have an apology, actually, really, to a number of people out there. Okay, so yesterday at the very beginning of the show, I had a couple of thank yous, like super appreciate the support from some of the people out there on Patreon. And I mentioned that we had our first ever PayPal donation, but that actually is completely incorrect. I've had like 4 or 5 PayPal donations prior to yesterday, but I wasn't getting any emails for it. And normally, see, the thing is, I've sold a lot of stuff on eBay, and you get paid by PayPal. You know, I used to sell things on eBay here or there, and you would receive a payment from PayPal, and every time you received a payment, you got an email. So I never really would check my PayPal account. I would just check my regular email, and if I got an email notification, that meant that I got a payment. And I wasn't getting any emails from PayPal, so I just assumed that there were no donations, nothing was happening. And then I got an email yesterday about a donation, and I was like, oh, that's the first donation I've ever had. But that is not true. That is completely incorrect. That is false information. And that really sucks to the handful of people that donated prior to yesterday. They're like, hey man, I donated, what's up, dude? And so I just wanted to mention that I received 4 PayPal donations prior to yesterday. I got a PayPal donation from Andrew, Hussein, Goran, and I'm just gonna say RI. Okay, because you know what? I don't want to put people's actual names on blast, and I don't want to like actually mention the exact amount that somebody donated, and I don't really want to use their actual real name. So I got to be careful here. I do want to say thank you to all these people. Absolutely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And I would like to mention your name or possibly like your avatar or whatever, but I don't want to do it without your consent. So I've got to figure this out. This is also from Patreon standpoint as well. I hope I haven't upset anybody by putting their name out there. I need to figure out a solution to all of that. But I just wanted to mention that real quick. I have received PayPal donations. It is going on. I totally appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just wanted to touch on that super quickly. Okay, now what is the next deal? So the next deal, guys, we've got news. We've got news in a lot of areas, but I'm going to go to what I think is the biggest news of the day. And it's news. It's definitely news for me because it affected me earlier today. So let's go ahead and bounce over here to our Webby browser And I think this might actually be our lead story of the day. The lead story of the day, guys, Shadow Legend VR. It was supposed to arrive today on February 21st. The developer is Vitruvius VR. They are the developers of Mervils, a VR adventure. And this was going to come out today. And I thought, I said repeatedly that I thought Shadow Legend VR, this is probably the biggin. This is the big game of February, in my opinion. I thought it was probably going to be the big game in February. And this was going to come out today. Unfortunately, it has been pushed back 1 week. So this is still coming in February, but they've pushed it back for 1 week. And probably with good reason. Okay, so I actually popped a Let's Play video of this earlier today, and it was on the channel for about, I don't know, for maybe like about a half an hour. And then I was checking my emails, and I saw that I got an email from Vitruvius VR, and they were like, don't post anything. We're delaying the game 1 more week. Please don't post any videos. Refrain from posting Let's Plays, opinions, reviews, all of that. Hold off for an additional week. So I went ahead and pulled that Let's Play video. So it is no longer there. It is no longer available. Now, why is this game delayed? What is going on? Well, I can tell you guys, as somebody that has sampled this game over the last week or so, I'm really loving what I've played so far. I really like what is going on in Shadow Legend, especially from an atmosphere kind of a standpoint. I can't talk about the game. The game is embargoed for another week now, so I can't really say much of anything other than to say I've really liked what I've played. Now, here's one of the problems, though. Anytime I was going from an indoor area to an outdoor area, or from an outdoor area to an indoor area, the game would either be locked up for a very, very, very long time, or the game actually crashed. And this happened to me a number of times. And then what I would have to do is I just had to restart the game, and then I just had to go in and hit continue, and then I would continue at the right spot. Like if I was indoors, I was trying to go outdoors to this new stage, the game crashed, I restarted it, I hit continue, and then boom, now I'm outdoors. And so it's an inconvenience. It's obviously a major inconvenience, but I was able to play the game. I really like what I've seen so far, but I can't really say much about it. But in my Let's Play, one of the things that I mentioned was I believe this will be patched, this will be fixed, and because the game works great when you're in the game. I had no performance issues actually in the game. It was just going from indoor to outdoor, outdoor to indoor, and it's a bug. It's obviously a bug, and so that's why it's been delayed. They want to patch this bug. They want to get this fixed so that on February 28th, when everybody gets in here and they play this game, they're not going to have this problem, and it's just going to work smoothly. So it's a good idea, probably the right move here by Vitruvius VR. No one wants to delay their game. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody looks forward to this. This is one of these decisions that developers make. They don't have a good decision. They either release a game that has a major bug or they delay it. It's not fun either way you slice it. All these YouTubers have Let's Plays that they've done of this game. They have impressions. They want to come on and talk about this game. They're excited to talk about this game. And now you got to delay everybody a week. Nobody likes that. And so they make this decision. They have to think about this very carefully, but I think it is the right decision. This is what you want to do. Delay it a week, figure out what your issue is, get it fixed, and they will probably have that patched very soon. So that is Shadow Legend VR. Number 1 story of the day. Okay, now, what is the number 2 story of the day? And this is not a shocker in any way, shape, or form. This is the number 2 story of the day, the Vive Focus Plus. It has been announced. It has been officially announced. This is coming to us in the second quarter of 2019. Okay, so we've already had the Vive Focus. What is the Vive Focus Plus? Well, we've talked a number of times that HTC was working on 6 DOF controllers for the Vive Focus. Basically, what they're looking for here is they're kind of looking for parity with the Oculus Quest in certain ways. They want to be able to offer basically everything that the Oculus Quest is offering as well. And so they've done that now with the Vive Focus Plus. You got the same chip that is running the show. The Snapdragon 835, I believe, is the chip that is in here. That's the same as the Oculus Quest. Now they have 6 DOF controllers, so now they are on parity. But the thing that we got to remember, though, of course, is right here, this second line, the future of business begins here. Yes, this is another one of these dreaded enterprise products, another one of these business products, which means it's not really designed for the end consumer. This is designed for businesses and stuff like that. Now, they're getting a jump on the Oculus Quest. That is absolutely true. Well, actually, maybe they're not getting a jump because this doesn't actually ship until the second quarter of 2019, and we believe Oculus Quest is coming on April 30th. We don't know for sure, but that's what we believe. But yeah, this is what's going to happen. It's the Vive Focus Plus, and let's actually go ahead and let's see here. Let me bounce over. Why don't we bounce over to Road to VR, and let's go ahead and click on their story about it, and let's see if we can get some additional details. And so they do have an update that just came through very recently here, and it says a previous version of this article stated that it appeared the Vive Focus Plus has the same Fresnel lenses as the Vive Focus. HTC reached out to us telling us that the lenses in the Vive Focus Plus are indeed new and result in visibly better graphics. They've also obtained a copy of the specs list, which has been included at the bottom of the article. Furthermore, HTC says that more information around pricing and launch date will come at the Vive Ecosystem Conference in late March. So Vive Ecosystem Conference. Has anybody heard of this? I haven't. The VEC in late March. So that is actually the news of the day, is that we're going to get something called the Vive Ecosystem Conference, which is a great idea because honestly, we kind of need somebody to break it all down for us. Like how is this whole Vive ecosystem working? Because we have the regular HTC Vive. We got the Vive Pro. We got the Vive Pro Eye. We have the Vive Cosmos. We've got the Vive Focus. We've got the Vive Focus Plus. These guys have more SKUs than they know what to do with. And they do need a Vive Ecosystem Conference to break this entire thing down. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll down. Now remember, all of this information, by the way, folks, Road to VR, much love to Road to VR. I use these guys on a regular basis. I use Upload VR on a regular basis, and props where props are due. These guys get the information in a major way. We really love this. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at these specs. Let's dig into these specs. So AMOLED display, 2880 by 1600. I believe that is for that is the combined resolution. So what is it? It's 1440 by 1600 per eye. We've got a snappy 835. That is the same processor that is going to be inside the Oculus Quest. So somebody that is developing a product for a game for the Vive Focus might not have that difficult of a time porting it over to the Quest. That is good news from that standpoint. There is a built-in speaker. We got inside out 6 DOF. Frame rate is locked in at 75 hertz. Field of view is 110 degrees. The controller is 6 DOF, and that's pretty much most of the information that we have there. What is the price for this thing? I know it is pretty high on the price side, because I think the regular Vive Focus costs quite a bit. Not seeing here where the price is for this. But yeah, I do know that it is a bit more pricey than the other headsets. And I'm not seeing this here, but I do know it's quite pricey. So anyway, that is the Vive Focus Plus. It is coming in the second quarter. Why don't we bounce over to Upload VR? Let's see if they've got any any newer information about this or any additional information or any other thoughts real quick. Vive Focus Plus is a new standalone headset with 6 DOF controls, improved comfort. Yeah, I did read here that there is improved ergonomics that are involved with this headset. It is ergonomically improved, which is good news. I just wanted to scan this real quick. Yeah, Snapdragon 835. Yeah, we know about that. Yeah, I guess no. Oh, the original Vive Focus is $599 when that launched 3 months ago. So obviously this is expected to be higher than that, or possibly they will just completely phase away the regular Vive Focus, and the Vive Focus Plus will just kind of come in and phase that away, and that will just evaporate once it is sold through, completely evaporated from all channels. Maybe the Vive Focus Plus will take its place at $599, because it's really going to be problematic the day that the Oculus Quest is available for $399. Won't businesses just buy that? So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting battle that Vive is involved with, going head to head with Oculus. I mean, they are at a major disadvantage here because of Moneybags. You know, Moneybags, Zuckerbro, as they like to call him at Oculus. You know, reading that book, The History of the Future by Blake J. Harris. A lot of people on the inside at Oculus in the very early days called him Zuckerbro. Yeah, Zuckerbro came to their offices and brought along a whole bunch of McNuggets and fries. He brought over some McDonald's to kind of show that he was an everyday bro, Zuckerbro. And they've got money bags. They got money coming out of their ears, and it's going to be very difficult for Vive, for HTC to compete with that in the standalone market, because I've got to imagine Oculus Quest is going to be commercial as well. In fact, they've got everything dialed in. I think it would behoove Oculus and Facebook to have a logical VR arcade location-based entertainment center plan for the Quest, because the Quest could be a great product for location-based entertainment centers, for VR arcades. Hopefully they've figured all this out, because to date, as far as I'm aware, and if somebody out there is really knowledgeable about VR arcades, to the best of my knowledge, Oculus does not have a program for VR arcades where you can license the whole entire thing, kind of like Springboard VR. I understood a long time ago that they were working on something like that, but I don't think they've ever actually released anything like that, which is kind of like they're dropping the ball a little bit there, because I think people would use Oculus Rifts and Oculus Quests in VR arcade scenarios, but you wouldn't be able to license it. And the Oculus Quest, like, you have to license it. You're not using Steam with the Oculus Quest. So we'll have to see how all of that shakes down once it ultimately works itself out. Okay, so we have some more news in the HMD scenario, and this could be Debbie Downer. This could be a major Debbie Downer story over here. So let me go back to my standard scene, and we're still stuck on that PayPal window, so let me go ahead and get that off of there. And what I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen here is I'm going to go ahead and pop this video right here. And so this video, if you guys might remember, this is a Windows mixed reality video. And we've talked about Windows mixed reality a number of times, like when we take a look at the PC VR gaming business. And of course, Windows mixed reality does include HoloLens as well. So you're also going to have HoloLens in there. And remember, guys, it's February 21st. What is coming up on February 24th? HoloLens 2.0 at Mobile World Congress. So we're going to be real excited for that. But is there some serious Debbie Downer news that is going on in the world of Windows mixed reality? Tech Radar has a report where they are speculating that Microsoft might be dumping Windows mixed reality. Say it isn't so, is what I got to say. Say it isn't so. This would be a Debbie Downer like none other. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and go over to our Webby browser as this guy does some goofy stuff with an HTC Vive headset on. So let's go over here to our Webby browser. And yeah, this is the story right here. And I don't know if this is like very legit or if it's kind of like much ado about nothing or major speculation on the part of Tech Radar. But basically they have this article right here. Has Microsoft given up on Windows mixed reality? Is Windows mixed reality going the way of Windows phones and the Microsoft band? Okay, hopefully not. Let's see here. So one of the things that they're talking about is this report by WindowsUnited.de, which suggests that Microsoft will no longer pay commission on Windows mixed reality headsets sold on the Microsoft Store, listed as no longer a commissionable product. It looks like Microsoft is ending the incentive to sell more of these devices. Okay, now Chrome has recently started to support Windows mixed reality. The best laptops that support Windows, what's the best? Okay, this is just miscellaneous crap. What's particularly worrying is that this means the Windows mixed reality devices now join Windows phone devices and the Microsoft band, all long dead products, which does not bode well for Windows mixed reality. As Microsoft Power User reports, Microsoft has sent an email saying that with this reclassification, we will focus our investment activities on Surface and Xbox products rather than on the following product categories. So it certainly sounds like, you know, this is what they're saying. It certainly sounds like Microsoft is moving away from pushing Windows mixed reality. Okay, let's go back over to our standard scene here. Now, are they really getting out of Windows mixed reality? I don't know what this means. I will say that where there's smoke, there is fire. And the fact that they have reclassified the product as a non-commissionable product is somewhat worrying. This is a concern to be sure. But I do believe we're probably going to get more information next week because we are going to have Alex Kipman, technical fellow. He is going to be on stage. We're probably going to hear a lot about the new version of HoloLens 2.0. And maybe when we hear all of this, we're also going to get some more information about Windows mixed reality. I find it incredibly unlikely that they're completely dumping Windows mixed reality. Now, they may have been disappointed with where Windows mixed reality has gone up to this point in time. They might be disappointed with the sales of Windows mixed reality. I'm sure they're not excited about support for Windows mixed reality because I think support has been like you don't want to support a product that doesn't sell very well, and you don't want to deal with a lot of consumer hassles if you're not selling a lot of the product. So we just have to wait and see on this. I don't think we can jump to conclusions. We have other Windows mixed reality headsets that are still coming out. You've got Hewlett-Packard. Remember, they've got their copper headset with 2160 by 2160 per eye. This is probably one of the headsets that we're most excited for. They've got you've got the Acer Oho 500, the redesigned Acer Oho 500, which is based on Windows mixed reality. It's also based on that Qualcomm reference design. That one, I believe, is going to have 2160 by 2160. Steve Bishop says, and where there's smoke, usually there's Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg. And I don't know that I could disagree with that. Yeah, something weird is going on. But maybe, guys, maybe we're actually going to get Windows Mixed Reality 2.0. It's about time. You know, maybe there will be a major announcement. Maybe Hewlett-Packard Copper, maybe this Oho 500 headset, maybe they're all part of Windows Mixed Reality 2.0, but maybe Acer couldn't say anything about it yet. Maybe Hewlett-Packard couldn't say anything about it yet because that's going to be a Microsoft announcement. Maybe they couldn't say anything. So maybe this is actually a wonderful thing in disguise. That could be a possibility. Okay, what else do we want to get into? Well, you know what? I have a number of little trailers that we can go into. Well, actually, you know what? Before we go into the trailers, we should probably cover the daily deal of the day over at Oculus, because that is something that we cover with regularity. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce over here. And our daily deal on the Oculus Store is a good one. It is Witchblood. This has been developed by Hidden Path Entertainment. If that name rings a bell, that's because they are the developers of Brass Tactics. But they've also developed this game, Witchblood. You can grab it for a 5 spot on Oculus right now. This is 37% off. Normal price is $8. It's down to $5. You got over 12 hours left in this deal. You can also get a Hidden Path bundle that includes Brass Tactics and one of their other games as well. And you can see Witchblood came out back on June 8th of 2017. And this game here, honestly, it's kind of like a Metroidvania. It reminds me of Castlevania. It reminds me of Metroid. And this is one of these games where if you grab this game, you're going to be seated, you're going to be sitting down, and you're probably going to want to grab a regular like Xbox controller or something like that and just play with like the D-pad and hit the buttons. And the way this game works is they create this like diorama where it's all happening in front of you. Steve Bishop says, is Witchblood on the go? I believe it is. Let me do a search. Let's do, we just switched over to Go. Witchblood. I believe there is a Go version of Witchblood. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the Go yeah, supports Go. Supports Gear VR, supports Gamepad. Yeah, so there is a Witchblood version on the Go. The Go version is not on sale, and like we were talking about that other day, there is no cross-buy, which that is kind of unfortunate, because this is the kind of game where a cross-buy would really work. And I know Oculus has made statements about cross-buy. We've pontificated on what could happen with cross-buy, and Facebook and Oculus, they've kind of poo-pooed it up to this point and kind of said it's not really going to be a thing that they're going to be thinking about. Obviously, with the Oculus Quest, that question is just going to get louder and louder and louder. And I think eventually they're going to have to come up with some kind of idea. Not necessarily where you get the game for free on multiple platforms, but maybe you get a major discount. For example, maybe you buy Witchblood on the Rift, and maybe you get a little code that would give you 50% off if you decide to buy the game on the Go. They've got to come up with some kind of solution. I really think it's just a bad look for them not to have any kind of a solution for people that have multiple platforms and they want that game to go on multiple platforms. Steve Bishop is in chat right now, and this is something that we've talked about a couple of times on the on our VR Roundtable episodes. Speaking of VR Roundtable, guys, did you see, I'm going to switch back over here to standard scene. Yesterday, there was a special episode on VR Roundtable. A lot of you guys tuned in live. I was there in chat as well. But if you didn't know that this episode existed, if you're a Pimax guy, you probably want to check out this episode, because they asked, both Steve and Gary asked a lot of interesting questions of Kevin Henderson regarding Pimax, regarding backers that still have not received some of their Pimax, regarding accessories, regarding the long-term strategy and plans of Pimax. A very good interview, like multiple hours. It was a pretty long, in-depth interview. I had to bounce out of there. I had to go get some lunch, and I missed part of it. But yeah, if you guys have missed this episode, you probably want to double back and check out this episode a little bit later. Lots of good info that was in there. I actually need to double back myself and catch some of the parts that I missed when I stepped out to go grab a bite to eat. Okay, so what else is going on in the world of VR? Well, one of the things that Paradise Decay was talking about, and he mentioned this in chat earlier in this show, and he actually mentioned this privately to me yesterday via a Discord message. And this is a game, let's see if I can find it here. So there's this game right here. It is called Fugl, something like that, right? And he was saying, Anthony, I bet you would like this game. And I think I know why he said it. He said it because, you know what, guys? I am addicted to color. I love very colorful, bright, cheerful, sunny. I like blue skies, Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog. I like this type of stuff. I also like retro-looking type stuff. And this is retro looking, looks trippy as hell. Like, look at how beautiful that is. That image right there, that image is absolutely begging and pleading to have the VR365 logo up in that right corner and to have some image of me on the other side doing some kind of a pose. That is a future VR365 thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen. I can pretty much predict that that is a future thumbnail. Maybe once I get a chance to actually play this game and give my thoughts on it. But yeah, this looks colorful as can be, pixelated as can be, a bit retro as well, but kind of right up my alley. It kind of looks like an eagle flight or something like that. Now, this actually came out way back on September 14th, 2017. Reviews are very positive on recent reviews, and all reviews are very positive. And I believe that what happened is they added VR support recently. I think that's the deal on this. But you know what? I did grab a trailer. Okay, so Paradise is saying Fugl. I'm gonna just call it Fugl. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's all voxels in VR, and the flying was amazing. Okay, so I did grab a trailer for this. Why don't we go ahead and check it out briefly? We can talk about it on the way back. Let me bounce back over here to my standard scene, and let me go ahead and grab this trailer for Fugl, which could be an Anthony special, especially with all that color. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. Alrighty, well that is Fugl, and you can see it is quite pixelated. It uses voxels, does kind of remind me a little bit of Eagle Flight. I like this. See, the thing is, I used to be a retro gamer prior to when I got into VR. So like all this kind of like pixelated, voxely looking stuff, it actually appeals to me in like this strange, weird way. And I'm also like a huge fan of things that are very colorful. I got to imagine the music is pretty enchanting as well. And there is some music that's going on in the background of this trailer. But yeah, Steam Early Access, PC, Mac, that is Fugl. And it is available right now. You know, going back over here to our Steam page for it, you can grab this for $10. And so I'm guessing, like I'm not seeing where it says the VR mode. Like if you look down here, it doesn't actually say like HTC Vive or Oculus Rift anywhere that I'm seeing. But I'm guessing that there must be some kind of thing that you can do as well. You can go underwater. You can do a lot of cool stuff like that. But that is Fugl. So Paradise was mentioning that. So I definitely need to look into this and check on that. Okay, now, speaking of color, there's actually another game I wanted to mention here. That is Color Up the Yin Yang. And that is this game right here. It is called A Lullaby of Colors VR. Blissful, psychedelic relaxation experience for VR. Fly through breathtakingly beautiful worlds of endless, sweet-tasting colors and gentle sounds. Great for relaxing, open-eyed meditation, or jaw-dropping, drug-free tripping, or add drugs for even more trippage. You know, and this has been developed by Andrew C. Wang, and this is on sale right now. When did this come out? This just came out February 21st. This is available today, y'all. This is actually in the news in multiple ways because it's actually available today. The standard price is 5 bones, but you can grab it for $4.20. You know, they should have made it $4.20. It should have been exactly $4.20. It would have been, you know, it would have made sense on a number of levels. But yeah, this is 15% off up until February 28th. And you know me, guys, I am addicted to color. I love color. I love bright, cheerful stuff. Although I gotta say, I might get a bit bored just seeing nothing but these little colorful tubes everywhere. Like, is that the extent of it? I don't know. I might get a little bit bored of that after a while. But you know what? I did grab a trailer for this as well, and this is available today. Why don't we go ahead and... Oh, Paradise is saying the VR version is on trial on Oculus Home for Fugl. Fugl is on Oculus Home. But let's check out a Lullaby of Colors VR first. Let's go ahead and check the trailer out for this. I grabbed a short trailer for it. Lullaby of Colors. All right, so that is a Lullaby of Colors, and they aren't lying. There is a tremendous amount of color in there, but I gotta say, just looking at this, like, I really am into colors. I like colors. I love, like, I'm looking at this and I'm kind of saying, where's Mario? Like, Mario should be running around and jumping on top of these little colorful worlds. Like, where is Mario when you need him? But I gotta tell you that something like this should probably be like $1.99. Unless there's like completely different surfaces that are different than just these tubes. But just seeing these tubes over and over again, I don't care how good the music might be. You know, I don't care how meditative this could possibly be, but probably should be like $1.99. Is it just me, guys? I don't know. I kind of think like this maybe should be like $1.99. But it does look kind of cool. Does look kind of trippy. That is a Lullaby of Colors. Okay, so that is available today by Andrew C. Wang. It is in the building. All right, let's see. Right before I jumped on for today's show, I saw another trailer that I think it just came out today, actually. So let's go ahead, before we go to the trailer, let's check out the Steam page for it. Okay, so there's this game right here. It is called Panoptic, all right? And it says Panoptic is a tense 1 versus 1 asymmetrical VR/desktop game that pits a colossal overseer armed with a slow but devastating eye laser against a tiny dissident being intent on destroying the overseer's energy source by mimicking the movements of others to remain undetected. What a bizarro concept. I mean, a truly bizarro concept. This is like some kind of weird dream, right? And so this game is coming out later in 2019, but as you can see here, there's a demo. Download the Panoptic demo. So there is a demo out there that you can check this out. This VR game does require a certain amount of space, and it does require 360-degree tracking. The developer of this game is Team Panoptes. let me click on them real quick just to see if they've got any other games. No, Panoptic appears to be their primary game. So here's a game that is coming up in the future, and a trailer for this just came out today. So I guess this is the giant thing with the eyeball that's shooting lasers, and then you're like a much smaller thing that is trying to pretend to be like AI controlled so that this giant eyeball thing doesn't know which one you are, and then you're going to try to destroy its energy source before it has a chance to destroy you. So it's this asymmetrical gameplay. Interesting idea. Why don't we go ahead and check the trailer for this out and see if it looks kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and pump the volume up on this, and we're going to check this trailer out. 1 second here. This is Panoptic. Okay, where are we? Here we go. All right, well, that is Panoptic. It looks like they're gearing up for Steam Early Access at some point in the very near future, and that's part of the reason that this trailer hit. Now, MainFan says Panoptic is from 2016, so they've been working on this thing for a long time. So it appears like they're still banging away on it, but it might be nearing completion in the near term. Okay, so yesterday, or I don't know, it might have been actually the day before. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. I'm going to switch back over here to our webby browser here. And one of the stories that was going around, they tricked you into thinking Panoptic is new. Yeah, that's MainFan in chat saying, I got tricked. And yeah, this happens to me a lot. And this is a problem because you know what? These VR, different games get announced, right? And then you don't hear about them for like a year and a half. And you completely forget about it. And then a trailer or something comes out and you're like, oh yeah, this is like a brand new VR game. Hey man, we got a brand new VR game you could check out. And ADHD Gamer says they also have the demo on itch.io. So I guess this has been around for a very long time. And so yeah, and Jay Pay says, anyone familiar with the Panopticon? It was a theoretical prison by Jeremy Bentham in the late 18th century. Didn't need any guards because with the right number of mirrors, everyone sees everyone else. Wow, that sounds like a nightmare world. But yeah, so this is Panoptic. And you know what, guys? One of the things that I have been doing over on VR Game... Well, no, actually, I got sidetracked here. Before we get into that, I do have this story right here. Okay, so this was kind of making the rounds, both on the Vive subreddit, the Oculus subreddit, and then also on some of the different VR gaming websites like Upload VR, Road to VR, stuff like that. Some people have been talking about Sniper's Ground. Okay, so basically this guy, this individual guy right here, Mohammed Al-Shafari, he is Al-Shafarafi. He is making this game. He is one dude that is working on this game, and he does not have a VR headset. He does not have a VR headset. And what he's trying to do, he's working on this VR game without a VR headset. And what he's doing is he jumped on Patreon, and he's trying to get Patreon supporters become a patron of this dude. And what he's hoping for is that if he can get enough money, he can buy a VR headset and he can continue the development of this game. And it's kind of sad in a way, honestly. It's kind of sad in a way that we would actually be reporting on something like this. But this kind of shows that we don't have a lot jumping off in the VR gaming world. And so we report on just about every little thing that happens because we're we're desperate to report on stuff like this. So a trailer did come out for Sniper's Ground. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at that trailer? This is the trailer right here. I'm going to switch back over here to our standard scene, and let's go ahead and check out the trailer for Sniper's Ground and see how it's looking. Let me go ahead and grab that. Sniper's Ground. Yeah, so this is kind of state of VR, guys. The fact that we are reporting on this, what does it say about us? It does say that we are desperate to report on just about anything and everything. Because basically this guy, okay, so he did make this animation here. And, you know, he made a nice looking forest. I'm not going to deny. I'm assuming that the guy made this forest. Like, the forest actually looks pretty cool. You know, this part looks kind of decent here. You see the sniper weapon. You're like, oh, man, look at that sniper weapon, brah. And then you see some nice grass, and the grass is blowing in the wind. You can see there's a couple of sniper dudes that are creeping through the grass. And then this guy is watching this dude. He's trying to line up his head. And then the guy gets shot. And then the other guy takes off running. Like, that looks good right there. Like, that looks like a scene out of the forest or something, you know, and this guy running, like, he's running pretty good, you know, the animation not too bad on him running. Sniper's Ground. Sniper's Ground, y'all. It is being made by one individual dude, and this individual dude doesn't even have a freaking VR headset. Well, no, he does have cardboard. He does have cardboard, and yeah, he loves the memes. He loves the internet maymays. So lots of internet maymays are scattered all around his little thing. And, you know, he's trying to get some Patreon support. But, hey, it's all Gizzy and the Hizzies. I'm not going to hate on this. You notice, though, that this guy is the same as that guy. And probably all of these guys are the same. But, yeah, that is Sniper's Ground. But you know what? I'll tell you this much. When we're in the world of VR, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm trying to catalog the best VR games that are coming out there. And so I'm working on this thing right about now. This is the top 80 most wanted PC VR games. I told you guys I was working on this. It's still a work in progress. We do have this over on the website right now, and you can scroll here, and we literally do have almost 80 games. Not quite 80. You can see Dirt Rally 2.0 is in there at 17. You know, we continue to scroll down here. You got Until You Fall by Shell Games. You got Dimension Hunter 2. We get down here, you got Planetrism, E-Spire 1, Into the Radius, Eye of the Temple. You know, keep scrolling. We're in the late 40s now. You got Telefrag, you got D-Magnet, you got The Days After, Stein VR, Twin Peaks VR. You know, keep scrolling down. We got Time Transit VR. You got Pros Enlightenment, Downstream VR, Whitewater River Rafting. You got Unearthing Mars 2, which is going to be coming very soon. We got Loco Parentis, which used to be called Adoption. We got Beat the Rhythm, which appears to be another game trying to be similar to Beat Saber, trying to be similar to Beat Blaster, which just came out by Ivanovich Games. And then, of course, Audica, which comes out on March 7th. Nariana Games has actually made some actual real VR games, so they are getting a little bit of love. We've got some older games that we haven't heard about in years, like Thoros Beneath the Shadows by Barkland Games, coming in there at number 60. We've got Iron Ascension, which is not scheduled to release until March 13th, 2020. We got Swords of Gargantua. We got Confucius VR. We got the Lighthouse VR. We've got MetaWorld. I don't even know if MetaWorld still exists, but we went ahead and ranked it because we're trying to rank 80 different games here. And you might see, guys, we've got Sniper's Ground. Yeah, Sniper's Ground. It's ranked at 75. We've got the others. We've got Dead Grounds, which was kind of a dud. I did a Let's Play of that. We've got Raiders of Urda by Cooperative Innovations, which apparently is still in existence. Tokyo Chronos VR. We just got a Steam page for that. And as you can see, I've got a few coming soon signs here because I got to come up with 77, 78, 79, and 80. But basically what I'm trying to say here is we're going to track the top 80 most wanted PC VR games, and I'm going to try to have game profile pages for all of these babies. I don't have all of them yet, but I'm going to make game profile pages for all these babies, and as games get released off of this chart, I will replace them with newer games. And you know, one thing I do need to update right here, Shadow Legend VR. I need to update this. February 28th is the new date, so I need to update that. But yeah, we're actually tracking 80 PC VR games, and honestly, you can get all the way down into the late 50s. Like, you know, I kind of have some minor interest in this game right here. Downstream VR, Whitewater Kayaking. I have minor interest in this, coming in the second quarter of 2019 by Jumpstick. You know, so we're going to keep track of this stuff. That's what we're doing. That's what we got to do, and that's what we continue to do. So, you know, there are some games that are coming in the future, and I'm probably going to make a top 100 that is going to mix in upcoming PlayStation VR games and upcoming Oculus Quest games. So I need to make a new master list, the top 100 most wanted VR games, period, and include Oculus Quest, include PlayStation VR, and that top 100 is probably going to be a pretty nice top 100. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and bounce back over to the Vive subreddit real quick. We have not checked on this today, and let's see what's going on over here. So HTC announces the Vive Focus Plus. Yes, we know about this. Honestly, I think the most exciting thing that we've found out today, more exciting than the fact that, more exciting than the fact that Shadow Legend got delayed a week, definitely more exciting than that, is the Ecosystem Conference, the Vive Ecosystem Conference coming up in late March. That is exciting as far as I'm concerned, because I'm sure we're going to get a lot of information about the Vive Cosmos. Maybe we're going to get the price on the Vive Cosmos. So I am excited about that. But yeah, this guy, big meh for the Vive Focus Plus, because the Vive Focus Plus, if we're going to be honest about it, it's not meant for us. The Vive Focus Plus is not meant for us. It is meant for business at this point in time. Where are the Knuckles controllers? That's a good question, but we're talking about a company called Valve, and don't ask questions that are not going to be answered. Okay, let's see. Only just learned about Vive Cosmos. Concerned about light-based tracking on controllers. Yeah, we've known about Vive Cosmos for a minute here. This guy is attempting a week in virtual reality. He's going to break his brain. Can you imagine if you stayed in virtual reality for a full entire week? What is the longest anyone has ever stayed in VR? For me, it's probably like 2 hours and 20 minutes. I don't think I've been in VR longer than 2 hours and 20 minutes, which I know that makes me a tremendous lightweight in the world of VR. I know some of you guys have spent 4 and 5 hours straight in VR. But spending an entire week in VR, you might come out of it wondering what reality you are in. You know, you might have some freaking problems at that point, I would think. Let's see. 5 upcoming Oculus exclusives that could carry Rift S this year. That, of course, is by Haney555. We already know kind of about those exclusives. This guy is waiting for Shadow Legends. Unfortunately, brah, you're going to have to wait one more week. I know it sucks because Shadow Legends does look good. It plays good. I've been very impressed with what I've seen so far with Shadow Legends. JetX. Try high-speed VR racing with your friends, JetX. And it looks like this was posted by somebody on the dev team. Let's click on this. Hi, I am our KDCM of JetX. I would like to represent our new game. You know, this game looks good. I'm going to tell you, this game does look good. And their logos, everything looks colorful. I like their logo for JetX. JetX is actually on our list. Let's see, where did it rank? Let's see, where is JetX? I know it's on. Look, JetX is up at 32. We ain't sleeping on you, brah. We're not sleeping on JetX. We know what JetX is all about, and we are excited for JetX. Looks kind of cool. And so this guy is talking about that. This is awesome. Will it come to the Oculus Store as well, or natively support the Oculus SDK? And we haven't heard back yet, and we're not sure when that's coming out, but that guy just wants to get it in your consciousness that there is a game called JetX. Oh, look, there's going to be a new Marvel Powers United patch that is coming very soon. Witchblood is today's daily deal, and that is a high-quality daily deal, to be sure. Oh, check this out. Marshall from Detroit, from Felix and Paul Studios. It is now available. We heard about this. I covered this. Apparently, it is now available. Marshall from Detroit. Does it cost money? That's my question. You know, does it cost money? Is it free? What is the deal? Let's see. It's on Rift Go. Let's click on this. Does it take us to Marshall? Marshall from Detroit. Hey, it's free, y'all. It's free. Yay. It's free. So I will be checking this out later today. Absolutely. Marshall from Detroit. Definitely need to peep that out. You know, I'm not sure if he's rapping and tapping, but I believe he's driving around in a car talking about, you know, being in Detroit and all that. And it's all in, you know, it's kind of like a 360 video. Slim Shady VR. It's free, bro. It's free. We will check it out. Free is the magical word that we love so much. So Marshall from Detroit is out there. Let's see. Looking for any other little minor news stories. Shadow Legend, is it the best VR RPG out there? I don't know about that. So this guy has a video for it. Has this guy taken down his video? Probably not. Let's go ahead and click on it. Yeah, no, he still has his video. He should be removed from the planet. Okay, is this real life? A Ferrari 488? Blah, blah, blah. Is there any reason the Oculus Quest won't be released at F8? I don't think so. Unless it comes out before then. Other than that, I believe it will come on F8. This guy says, should I wait for the Oculus Rift S? You know what? Actually, let me go to the mailbag, guys. Let me go to the mailbag because there was a really good question the other day. Let's see, YouTube. There was a really good question in the mailbag yesterday, and it's basically the $64 million question. Okay, here's VR 365. Yeah, somebody was saying that's like my it's like my the Zoolander pose. Yeah, it's kind of like my Zoolander pose, which is kind of funny. But let's see, what episode was it? Was it this episode? I got to find the episode where a guy asked a really good question, and I honestly, like, it's hard. Okay, this guy right here, Faceless Fan. Okay, so he says, hey, new to your channel, I am looking to get a VR. I have a PSVR, but looking to get a PC VR. Which headset do you recommend and why? I mean, this is like the $64 million question, right? Like, what PC VR headset could I recommend to somebody right now? And the problem is, there is no easy answer to this question right now. There really isn't. And I went ahead and replied to this guy, and I'll go ahead and read to you guys the reply that I gave him. I said, unfortunately, there isn't an easy answer to this question right now. The best idea would be to wait a few months, if possible, because many new HMDs that happen to be featuring this 2160 by 2160 resolution per eye, they're right around the corner. The other thing I told this guy is Oculus might. I really believe this. Like I know most of you guys don't believe this, but I really, truly believe that the Rift S might be way closer to coming out than any of us possibly imagine because of the 3-year anniversary, guys. The 3-year anniversary is March 28th. PAX East lines up with that. Nate Mitchell could be there, and the Rift S could be there. Now, I know a lot of people think there's no way in hell that the Rift S is going to be there because that's going to confuse the issue with the Oculus Quest so close. There's no way they would ever do that. But I think there is a way that they would do that from the standpoint if the Rift S is simply a replacement for our regular Rift. If it's not like a new advanced, it's just a replacement. It's just the new version. It's the new Rift, brah. It's not like Rift 2.0. It's just a replacement. Then maybe it could be launched on the date of the 3-year anniversary on March 28th. So I would wait for that as well. If somebody put a gun to my head, though, and they said, look, you've got to recommend me a PC VR headset today. You've got to do it. I don't care. I don't care about these 2160 by 2160 headsets. I don't care about the Rift S. I don't care about the Quest. I need a recommendation right now, this very minute. If someone put a gun to my head, I would actually recommend the Oculus Rift. Now, why would I recommend it? Number one, it's $349.99, which I think is a good price. Number two, they've got the best controllers out there right now at this point in time. Now, Samsung, there's a great deal for Samsung. It's cheaper. You save $50, but the controllers are crappier, okay? The controllers are crappier. And then also, if you want to play any of these Oculus exclusives, you have to go through some kind of like revive thing where it might not work very good. You got a 50-50 chance that it's even going to fit your head properly. That's the problem with these Samsungs. And then the other Windows mixed reality headsets are kind of flimsy, and and Microsoft might even be getting out of the Windows mixed reality game, although I don't really believe that. I also told this guy, you might want to wait a minute or two to actually demo the Oculus Quest before making this decision. Now, I know a lot of people would think, well, that has nothing to do with PC VR. But what if you get an Oculus Quest, you fall in love with the wireless thing of it, and you realize that with a Snapdragon 835, that it's not that terrible, that you can play a lot of really good games, and maybe you just want to roll with the Oculus Quest and you're going to forget the whole PC VR thing altogether. There may be some people that do that as well. So this is a very difficult to answer question, and there is no easy, obvious answer. Getting a regular HTC Vive kind of seems crazy with the Vive Cosmos looming. Also, the price is just really high on the price. So there's no easy recommendation. I mean, what do I recommend? The recommendation is wait a minute if you can, because I gotta believe. So at the end of March, we're going to have this Vive Ecosystem Conference, which that's great because we're probably going to find out more information about the Vive Cosmos. Of course, the Vive Pro I is still kind of floating out there. We don't even have the price for that. You got the Hewlett-Packard Copper. You got the Acer Oho 500. There's just a lot of stuff that, and then, oh, what about Valve? What about the Valve Mystery HMD? This is the situation that Jim Hall is in. Jim Hall is in this exact situation. He is torn. This is the exact situation that Jim Hall is in. Absolutely torn because there is just no easy answer for that. Okay, I'm going to see what some people are saying over here. So VR_, okay, Chris. First of all, Chris says, I would recommend the Vive still, but I personally don't like the Rift. See, the problem with the Vive is the cost of it. The cost of it is still very high. And then you got those old ass wands. It would be one thing if the Vive had new controllers. Like, it's so hard for me to recommend the Vive to anybody with those old ass wands. And then they don't even have like the 2.0 base stations in a package yet. It's like we're just in a screwed up situation right now. We really are. VR_gamer says Rift S with more Oculus exclusives would be awesome. Well, I mean, Rift S could be an option if it is this replacement that I think it might be. Hussein X says software is king. I'll take a Rift S with great exclusives. I mean, it is an advantage. It's certainly an advantage. Steve Bishop is checking in. He thinks the Pro I will be $2 grand, $2 grand plus for the entire package, where you get the controllers, you get the 2.0 base stations. Chris likes the wands. I liked the wands like the very first year that I had them. Like I can remember back to April 2016, I first got those wands. I thought they were next gen as hell. Like I thought the wands were awesome when I first got them. I was like, oh man, these are space age. This is so awesome. You know, the touchpad and the feel of it, you know, it feels pretty solid and stuff. But now, like ever since I've had touch, and MRTV used the quote that I use, the Oculus Touch controllers, they just melt in your goddamn hands. Oh, and I didn't even bring up Pimax. I haven't even brought up Pimax. Pimax is in the equation as well. And, you know, going back to that Pimax show yesterday that Steve and Gary did with Kevin Henderson there for Pimax, one of the things that I mentioned in chat, and this is the God's honest truth, guys. The God's honest truth, I would need to buy 2 of them. Like, I would not buy a single Pimax. I simply would not buy a single Pimax. The only way I would ever buy a single Pimax is if I could go to Best Buy and I could buy one, and I could also buy a protection plan. I would be willing to pay a bunch of extra money for that protection plan. Main fan, you must have some really big hands, bruh. He says the wands melt in my hands. No, they don't. The wands are just big, gigantic ass clubs. They're like baseball bats in my hands. They do not melt in my hands. You must have some really big hands. See, I've got Trump hands. My hands are a little bit miniaturized. I got a problem here. But basically what I'm trying to say here, on the Pimax front, I couldn't buy a single Pimax. If I bought a 5K Plus, I would have it for a month. Something would break, something would malfunction on it. And see, the problem is like, and Main Fan was in chat yesterday and we were talking about this. Let me go ahead and switch back over to my standard scene here. And I can throw on that little logo that we had for that Pimax show yesterday. Just a reminder, guys, if you have not seen this show, make sure and check this out. But in the chat of this show yesterday, I say that I would need to buy 2 Pimaxes. I'd have to buy 2 of them. And Main Fan replied to this in chat, and he said, why? You've got a Rift. You've got a backup plan. And I'm saying, no, I don't have a backup plan, because here's the deal. According to Sebastian from MRTV, and according to our very own Steve Bishop, which was in this chat, I don't know if he's still around right now, but according to Steve Bishop and according to Sebastian from MRTV, once you try the Pimax, it's hard to go back. It's the reason Steve was jonesing for some kind of support so that he could get a cable so he could get back in there, because once you experience a hammerhead shark, you cannot go back to a guppy. Once you're a hammerhead, you can't go back. And so for me, I gotta buy 2 of them. Just like VR Spry Guy says, Steve says, once you go wide, you can never go back. And that is the God's honest truth, according to these other people. I have not tried it myself. So for me, I'd have to buy 2 of them. I would buy 2 of them, and one of the boxes, I would open it up. I'd make sure that it worked. You know, I'd test it out just to make sure that it worked. Then I would put it back in its box, and I would put it in a cabinet or in a closet, and I would keep it there, and I would say, okay, you are a nice little Pimax. Stay right there. Stay nice and snuggy in your box. Take care of yourself, and hopefully I don't need to break you open in an emergency. It's kind of like a fire hydrant or like a fire extinguisher. Break open in need of emergency. You know, if there's an emergency, break glass. That's where my Pimax would be. It would be behind glass for emergencies, because I would be scared to death that this is my fear. This is my number one Pimax fear, and I'm sure it's a fear that a lot of you other guys have if you're jumping on the Pimax bandwagon. My fear is, if I get a Pimax and I fall in love with a thing and I get addicted to this wide FOV, I can't go back, and then something freaking breaks. And then for 4 months I don't have it. So I've tasted the sweet, sweet nectar, and now the nectar has been violently removed from me. That is my worst case scenario. That is my worst fear, and that's the number one. That's why I haven't bought a Pimax right now. I would buy a Pimax right now if I knew that I could get another Pimax the next day, like if I had a problem. I would literally buy one now if that was the issue. But I can't buy a Pimax right now because I feel like I gotta buy two, and I can't afford to buy two of them right now. So that's my situation with Pimax. Steve Bishop is asking a question. He says, Anthony, what if your Rift broke today? If my Rift broke today, I could drive down to Best Buy and buy another one for $350. It's not that big of a deal. So that's why I need to have two. But you can't go down to Best Buy and buy a Pimax. If your Pimax breaks, you're waiting to hear from China. F that noise. F that noise. So yeah, what I'm saying here, Kevin Henderson, I don't know if he answered this question yesterday. I think he dodged it. But if somehow Pimax could get into Best Buy, and see, Best Buy, they have these protection plans that you can pay extra for. And normally, it's the biggest waste of money ever. Like, I never buy protection plans. It's such a scam. I used to work at these places, and they would tell us all day long to sell the protection plan, protection plan, protection plan, protection plan. They would have meetings about the protection plans because it's literally like 90% profit. It's just free money for these protection plans because people buy them, they completely forget that they have it, and it is just free effing money. That's what it is with these protection plans. But with HMDs, there's problems with these HMDs, guys. I would buy a protection plan if Best Buy had one. I absolutely would. So if they put Pimax in Best Buy, I would buy it. I would buy the protection plan. And I would have those warm fuzzies. That's what Steve talked about yesterday. He talked about the warm fuzzies, and I would feel the warm fuzzies, you know. And Steve's saying he don't think Pimax is going to be in Best Buy. I don't think so either. Amazon is more likely. But even if it was in Amazon, I don't know that I would feel safe about it because I don't know that I feel that I could buy one immediately. Like it's going to take a long time for it to be in that kind of category. But like if there's a problem with my Rift, I could drive down to Fry's, I could drive down to Best Buy, I can grab another Rift, I can order one online, I can order one on Amazon. I could have another Rift here within a couple of days, and I can play my PSVR and some Chromagun VR, and it'll cover me nicely. So I'm good. But that's my thought on Pimax. So it's not like I'm not even considering Pimax because I'm not buying two of them, and I would only buy two. So it's not even in the realm of possibility for me. All right, guys. Well, basically, that is our show for today. That is going to go ahead and wrap it up for the episode of VR365 for today. Once again, I need to make a reminder, subscribe to the show, folks. There are actually a lot of people that watch this show that for whatever strange reason, they are not subscribed. And you know what? It's safe. You can go ahead and subscribe to my show because I don't hammer you with a ton of crazy crap. All I do is these daily live streams, and then I do Let's Plays, and that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to hammer you with all kinds of weirdo crap that's constantly going to be bombarding you. So go ahead and subscribe. It's safe. It's nice. It's comfortable. It'll give you those warm fuzzies. And then also go ahead and tickle that like button, guys. Tickle that like button. Main Fan says, forget about Chromagun, play some RE7. Yeah, I'm stuck in RE7. I should do a Let's Play of RE7, where I'm stuck and why I never play RE7. But that's going to do it, folks. I will see everybody tomorrow at around 11 a.m. noon. Tomorrow is Friday. Yes, and I'm going to go ahead and try that Marshall Mathers from Detroit, Marshall Mathers, whatever the hell it is. Eminem is what I call the dude. I'm going to try that later today and check it out, and I'll be talking about that tomorrow. So everybody have a wonderful Thursday. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Later.